Porsche reveals 26 Cayenne Electric and Cayenne Turbo Electric. Base car makes up to 435 horsepower. Turbo kicks out a massive 1,139 horsepower. Adaptive air suspension is standard. Inductive charging optional. The original Cayenne supercharged Porsche's sales. And 23 years later, the third-generation car is still the brand's bestseller. But now the nameplate is heading into new territory with the launch of the 2026 Cayenne Electric, a battery-powered twist on the formula using lessons learned from the smaller Macan EV. This isn't just an electrified version of the familiar Cayenne. The new electric models ride on an entirely different platform, a version of the PPE architecture used in the Macan Electric, but stretched 5.1 inches, 130 millimeters, to give a 119-inch, 3,020 millimeters, wheelbase. That wheelbase is also longer than the combustion Cayennes by the same amount, resulting in a healthy increase in rear legroom for passengers. Let's start with the showstopper. The $163,000, plus $2,350 DEST, Cayenne Turbo Electric's dual-motor powertrain generates 844 horsepower, 857 horsepower/630 kilowatts, in normal driving, but the push-to-pass boost, activated by a button on the steering wheel, throws in an additional 173 horsepower, 177 horsepower/130 kilowatts, for 10 seconds at a time. And the madness doesn't end there, because with launch control activated, you can unleash up to 850 kilowatts, which translates to 1,139 horsepower, 1,155 horsepower, and 1,106 lb-ft, 1,500 Newton-meters, of torque. Porsche says its most powerful production car ever goes 0 to 60 miles per hour, 97 km/h, in 2.4 seconds, versus 3.1 seconds for the fastest combustion Cayenne, the Turbo GT, and gobbles up the standing quarter-mile in 9.9 seconds. Top speed? An ample 162 miles per hour, 260 kilometers per hour. Welcome to Porsche's new performance reality. The regular $109,000 Cayenne Electric is plenty slower, but hardly tame. It produces 402 horsepower, 408 horsepower/300 kilowatts, in normal driving and up to 435 horsepower, 441 horsepower/324 kilowatts, when launch control is engaged. That output, and the 615 lb-ft, 834 Newton-meters, that goes with it, delivers you to 60 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds and a top speed of 143 miles per hour, 230 kilometers per hour. Both trims also deliver serious energy recuperation, with braking that can feed up to 600 kilowatts back into the battery. Porsche claims that about 97% of routine braking situations never need to involve the physical brakes, though you can still opt for PCCB carbon rotors if you feel inclined. Adaptive air suspension with Porsche Active Suspension Management is standard, and the Turbo adds a torque vectoring rear differential. Both variants can be optioned with rear axle steering and Porsche Active Ride, using active anti-roll bars, as on the Taycan, is also available. The new 113 kilowatt-hour battery pack is the heart of both models and is 13 kilowatt-hour bigger than the one in the Macan Electric. Thanks to 800-volt architecture and improved cooling, the Cayenne Electric can charge at up to 400 kilowatts under ideal conditions. A jump from 10 to 80% takes less than 16 minutes. The Cayenne Electric's new shape isn't just for show. A drag coefficient of 0.25 makes it one of the most slippery SUVs in its class. Hidden aero flaps, a smart roof spoiler, and trick aero blades help it slice through the air and squeeze out more range. Porsche says the system constantly adjusts to changing speeds and loads, adding grip when needed and cutting drag when it's not. And if you're more interested in cutting through rock trails than cutting through the air, an off-road design package brings different front and rear bumpers to improve the approach and departure angles. Inside, rear passengers get more legroom and electric seat adjustment as standard, interior surface heating, and a panoramic roof that uses liquid crystal tech to alter its opacity. Then there's the digital experience. The new Flow display stretches across the dash with two large OLED screens for gauge cluster and infotainment duties. A 14.9-inch passenger display is optional. There's also an epic 87-inch head-up display with augmented reality guidance available, a new AI-driven voice pilot, and an upgraded app system with streaming and gaming baked in. That's a lot of tech, but at least Porsche kept physical buttons for things like climate and volume. US deliveries of the 2026 Cayenne Electric start in late summer 2026, by which time we'll be able to fill in blanks that include those all-important EPA range figures and maybe confirmation of the rumored mid-ranking Cayenne S with around 592 horsepower, 600 horsepower/441 kilowatts, designed to bridge the gap between the two launch models. We're also expecting to see the GTS badge appear at some point, as it has recently on the Macan Electric.